My fellow BBNers, what a wonderful world we live in. Aside from some of the nasty aspects of this modern age, such as climate change, terrorism, and Donald Trump, we really live in a time like no other. I think that one of our most amazing advances has been our ability to communicate across the world in just a matter of seconds. You can tweet someone in Tehran, Facebook chat a friend in Florence, or even slide into someone's DMs in Detroit. However, it seems to me that the most important form of communication is speech. And I'm sure that most of you will agree with me, seeing as you're taking this course. And I think that speech can really affect how successful you are in life. Whether you have an accent, a speech impediment, or you just have a really weird voice, it shapes your identity. For example, I could tell you a really, really boring sentence. I went to the store to buy an avocado. Easy to understand, right? What if I said it like this? I went out to tate story to be an avocado. You would think, I was a bloody lunatic, wouldn't you? In our professional lives, I think that those who are better at speaking and have more normal accents for that region are just going to be more successful. Coming from Australia, I've had a very different childhood to you guys. When you guys weren't allowed to go outside, it was because you forgot your jackets, not your hats. When you guys had snow days, I had heat days, or even once a day off because of a sandstorm. However, in places like America and Australia, with so many ethnicities and races, it's sort of hard to know all this without talking to someone. Like, you would know none of that about me unless you, or have no clue about that unless you had talked to me. However, that isn't even a guarantee. I've had people ask me if I'm from South Africa before. No, close, just 7,000 miles away, pretty close. I think that an accent can have a huge impact on what people think about you as well. When I talk, what comes to mind? I know that a lot of the time people think, what the hell did he just say? It can be really frustrating for you and for me. And one of my worst experiences with that happened with our good friend Jesse here, back in 8th grade at Julia Jacobs' house. I saw this lonely boy sitting in his green sweatshirt. There was music playing like doof, doof, doof. And back in 2011 it was probably like Call Me Maybe or something. And he was sort of just sitting there bumping to the music like doof, doof, doof. And his head was bobbling like one of those bobbleheads in a car. And so I went up to him, I made a bit of small talk. I was like, hey, what's up, Jesse? Yo, what's up, Lachlan? So we were talking, and it was funny, whatever. And it eventually came to this. Oh, so what school do you go to, Jesse? Oh, soccer. Oh, I actually just asked you what school you went to. I play left back mostly. The crazy thing about this is that English is my first language. Like, that's not good at speaking Chinese or something. Since there was music playing, it was pretty loud. It might have distorted my voice, but I can't even begin to imagine how it must have been for somebody who speaks Korean or Spanish at home. There's actually been a lot of research on this topic by the University of Chicago. Their papers say that if a person is harder to understand, then they're more considerably likely, or you're more considerably likely to think that they are lying. Just think about that for a second. If you have a hard to understand accent, people might think that you're lying. So when Ms. Moynihan or Mr. Carrera are teaching us about the American Revolution, they're bloody lying to us. Also, if you have an accent, then an employer is more likely to think that you're making things up about yourself. This automatically just makes it so hard for you to get a job. Another very famous case of how speech can really affect success is King George VI. Most of you probably know King George's story from The King's Speech. And Max, being a history guy, probably knows him as an imperialist with socialist views, but with a hint of Marxism and a sprinkle of nationalism. King George had a speech impediment, which sort of made it harder for him to inspire his people. He could not stop stuttering, and he just spoke like this, and so he had to take lessons to tone down his impediment. And his success as a king was really stringent on his ability to inspire. I really do think that speech is one of the most important forms of communication. By communicating our ideas and collaborating with each other, we've just grown so much as a species. Although I do not think that people should be judged for their accents, it's often just unavoidable. Sometimes if I have a foreign Uber driver and they're rattling on about something, I'm just like, oh, it's 12 o'clock at night, I have no idea what you're saying, don't really care. But that really sucks. I mean, these people could have something really cool to tell you, or they could be sitting on a life-changing story. And just because they're hard to understand, we sort of just dismiss that. In my opinion, being able to portray your ideas is a major key to success. And although my success in America should not be hindered because I call these tomatoes, or because I call this a schedule, or because I call this a thong, it probably will affect my career at some point. Thank you.